to Sasha and Goff live recorded. I'm Sasha.
I'm Goff.
And this is another episode. What's going on, Goff?
Not much, man. You're looking pretty dapper over there.
I'm dapped up.
Yeah.
That's what the kids call it.
Yeah.
You look mildly dapper as well.
Thank you. I shaved. I got a haircut. Got all of them cut.
Oh!
Dad jokes. You know what? I have to quickly, because I was just going through last week's episode, the one when you talked about the awkward dad moment with the guy with the cherry ice cream from Door County. So I swear to God, this is when I was coming home from your house from the last time we were recording, because I was going to text you about it, but I'm like, you know what, it's more fun to tell him. I had an awkward dad moment. So I drive...
On the way home?
On the way home.
Okay.
I drive what is arguably the number one dad car in the world, and that's a Honda CR-V. Okay? Very reliable car. It's great.
I don't know. They had timing belt issues in the early 2000s. But
right,
that's another story.
Hey, we're in the late
That's true.
Early 2020s. But anyway, so I'm driving. I'm turning onto my street, and the exact same car is turning off of the street, another CR-V just like mine. Sure enough, it's just a dad about my age, and we lock eyes. And our lives are changed forever. Because it's kind of like you said with the guy turning around, like when you're in dad mode and then all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, like you're taken out. Like here we weren't in dad mode until we made eye contact, and it was like,
so you guys made eye
nice
contact
car.
And then you were both kind of like, yeah, this is like the standard issue.
Quick eye contact, and then we both looked away, and it was just like...
Yeah, makes sense. You live in a beautiful suburb. Yeah. You drive a sweet car.
It's a reliable car.
You guys were probably going to do yard work. You came to my house today. You talked about the yard work. I know secretly you're like, this guy doesn't know how to keep a yard. You can tell this guy's not a dad. That's what you're thinking, right?
No, absolutely not.
All right, I can see.
No. I think I just put a little more time into it, but no, I mean, so another
You're not
thing,
lying.
another
thing.
thing,
We were talking about it. You're like, I mow my lawn every 5 days, and I'm like, this month, that one time I mowed my lawn.
I mowed my lawn on the 5th.
I mow my lawn so that my neighbors think that I died. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like they're like, the grass is really tall. Should we go check on him?
Actually,
it's not good.
Our next door neighbors just had a baby, and I cut their grass while they were still at the hospital just because it needed it anyway, and I was just like, hell yeah. But I got to like do theirs and mine together, so it looked better. Just like, I usually go like up and down, but this way I went sideways so you could see that it was going all the way across.
There's a guy who lives down the street, and he's like older than us, probably 10 years older than us. He's going to be...
he's like in his late 30s?
Yes, he was born in 2001.
Okay.
He is what you are going to be. He mows his lawn. He mows his neighbor across the street's lawn, who I think is like an older person. So he does it because he's got the time and he's got a nice machine. So he just goes over there and takes care of business for everybody.
That's key.
Not only that, he's edging, right? He's edging. He's doing the sidewalks. He's taking... Everything looks beautiful. You know what he does afterwards? Just sits in his garage. He's got a TV up on the garage, and he just watches sports. He's got a cooler with beverages that has like LED lighting over it. You can see it from the street. I'm going to show you this guy's house, and you're never going to see anyone else's house.
I'm already striving to be this gentleman.
In 10 years, when you are 31 years old,
yes,
you will be this guy exactly. So.
It's going to be sweet, man. I got a lot to look forward to.
So we got a couple of things. Obviously this show, we do top 3 lists and blah, blah, blah. Any subject, it doesn't matter what it is. If you want them, you can send it in, sasaandgoff@gmail.com, or put, text us.
Or sasaandgoff.com. You can see our YouTube. You can leave comments there, which is probably the best place to do it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, anyway, so a couple people have left comments about some of our past episodes here. So one of them, this was me leaving a comment in my head.
Okay.
We were talking about game shows, top 3 game shows last week or the week before. I don't remember when. There's one that I watch on a almost weekly basis that I didn't even bring up in the Potent Notables.
Okay.
And I wanted to know if you have ever watched this show or if you have any interest in the show. Beat Shazam?
Nope.
With Jamie Foxx?
Never heard of it.
Okay. So it's like
Beat Shazam or Beach?
Yeah. Beat.
Okay.
Beat Shazam. Do you know what Shazam is?
It's like a genie. Honestly, I'm thinking of the Shaq movie, I think.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Kazam or whatever that is, or Shazam.
Yeah, it should be Shazam, but I think it's Kazam.
Wait, Shazam is, what the hell is the Marvel guy?
That's your department.
Isn't that Shazam? I think that is too, anyway.
Well, so this
Not
is...
Marvel, DC.
Shazam
sorry.
is an app
It's Shazam.
that when you hit the button, it hears whatever song is playing wherever you are, and then it tells you what it is.
Gotcha.
My wife doesn't know how to use her apps, so every time she's like, I'm going to go to Shazam.com, which I don't think is a thing, but that's how she rolls. So this game show is about you beating Shazam, like you guessing a song before the time,
Nice.
and you have to know the exact title of the song. Megan is, I'm telling you, she will win us money if she plays this game. Her knowledge is unbelievable, and mine horrible. And I always just name the band, which is not what you're supposed to do. It's just name the song, and I'm always like Motley Crue, and she's like, stop yelling. But it's a really fun, like,
What's it on?
Fox.
Okay.
And so Jamie Foxx is the host,
Hey.
and then his daughter is like the DJ who's like playing the songs or whatever, and 3 teams play, and you play for $1 million, whatever it is. But I didn't know if you had known that or not, and since it's music related and we're music buffs,
Yes.
some more buff than others. Yeah, I just thought that was a decent one. Cool. And then last week was tough because we hit the hard subjects on this.
We do.
And we started off last week with, there's a lot going on. The president dropped out, new person running, Middle East conflict, all kinds of stuff going on. Former president shot in the ear, madness. And so last week we went in deep and we talked about pretzels.
Yes.
Okay.
We talked about pretzels.
Pretzels, yeah. And you obviously hate pretzels. You're a bad person. We all learned that.
I don't think so, but go on.
We all learned that.
All right.
I got a message from our friend Hattori Hanzo who mentioned breaded pretzels are good and blah, blah, blah. But he brought up a name of a pretzel that I've never heard before. Philly pretzels? Philadelphia pretzels?
That's like the name brand? Or
I didn't know if it was a style of pretzel or a name brand. When you type it in, it is actually a company called Philly Pretzels. Okay. But I don't know if it's based off of what a Philly pretzel is. The only difference I could find is that they make them in figure eights.
Ooh.
But they'll make like 5 figure eights together. You know what I mean? To like make one giant pretzel.
Yeah. So it's like when you're cutting out the people like for during Christmas time and you pull it open and it's like all these people holding hands.
First I was going to say absolutely not. And then I was like, no, it kind of is. Yeah. So I was amazed, and pretzel technology these days, mind-blowing. It's like the AI of pretzel. That's all. I just wanted to bring another pretzel to your attention that you will never eat. Yeah, besides that, our buddy Mike, who has generously given us $1 to put his anything he wants, any picture, in this advertising spot that we have up here. He has been shunned.
Oh!
As you can tell, I put his picture over there. It's on the amp.
Yeah.
And my wife Megan has given us $2 to put this portrait of my dog, a Victorian-era portrait.
That is wonderful.
Of my dog, Callie. And I was thinking, we could continue doing this thing where it goes more and more and higher and higher. And if you want this spot, you can kick her out immediately. You can send me $3.
If you hate dogs, you can take over.
And I don't care if you love dogs.
No, if you want to just obliterate that.
That's very rude. This was a gift.
I'm just saying. I think it's wonderful, but I mean, we need money.
Yeah, you
got to go to Riot Fest.
Obliterate this. Send us cash.
No, it's awesome. Thank you, Megan.
So she paid $2 for this, but I was thinking, the thing is, we keep now you have to knock her out $3 higher and higher. Eventually, it's going to get to a point where people are like, "I'm not giving you $6 or whatever." Right? That's too much.
I'm giving you $4.
Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe we do a 4-week limit. What do you think about that? And then it starts scratch. Or if you want to knock it out, if you don't want to see this on the next episode, then you send us the money to, bam, get it out of here.
Yeah.
Or after 4 weeks, it goes back and it goes to being blank. And then someone could give us another $1. Probably Mike with a different picture.
Yeah.
This is just me trying to milk more money out of Mike.
Yeah.
Me milking Mike.
Do it.
Regularly.
Triple M, baby.
So anyway, thanks, Megan, for the $2.
That's awesome.
We got him in here, so we actually have money in here. Although I had put those quarters in. Those are my quarters.
Yeah.
I made Megan Venmo me $2. Now you may be asking, well, I want to Venmo you. How do I do that? You Venmo Sasha and Goff. That's right.
Whoa.
We have a Venmo.
Nice.
Sasha and Goff. No H's. SASAANDGOFF. Send us your money. The only transactions I've ever had are this $2 that I've accepted and like a $35 Instagram lawsuit settlement that they sent me money to my Venmo.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so we have a Venmo now. And by the way, it goes to me, not us. So I'm on the honor system here.
Yeah.
She sent me $2. Maybe she sent me 10 and I'm telling you to. And I kept the rest. But I guess
on the YouTube, it would just be angry comments from everyone. Why hasn't my picture gone up
yet?
Yeah.
It's a whole Ponzi
You have a new
scheme.
watch and everything. I don't know.
So yeah, so we have a Venmo now, Sasha and Goff.
Yeah.
Flashy graphic. Yeah, all right.
Nice.
We'll see if I remember to do that. And Megan, there it is. There's your picture. And I'm going to guess it's going to be up for at least 2 weeks. I'm just saying that.
At least, yeah.
And then we'll see.
Maybe
exactly
Joni will replace, and then it'll just be our wives going back and forth, putting pictures of our dogs.
That's fine. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Send us your cash.
Cool.
I wanted to ask you, have you watched the Olympics?
I have not been watching the Olympics. I actually not for any reason. I'm not like boycotting them. No, honestly, like if they're on, like I'll be like, oh, cool. But I was getting my haircut the other day, and the woman told me that there's breakdancing now, so that was news to me. But yeah, no, just we haven't been. Yeah.
So I had zero interest besides the basketball, because Serbia's involved and yada yada.
Yeah.
I've slowly, like occasionally something's on, you're sitting there and you're like, what is this? And you turn it on. And that's how you watch skeet shooting. Men's skeet, not what I thought it would be. Not what I thought it was going to be.
Hello.
But, yeah, they have trampoline. They have skateboarding, which Megan asked me.
I mean, it was X Games. I didn't know it actually became Olympic.
Yeah, it became an Olympic sport. Megan's like, do other countries, like, skate? And my response was, Bob Burnquist.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to think of anyone else from Tony Hawk from 20 years ago. Yeah. And so I guess they did the women's street.
Okay.
The winner, the gold, was a 14-year-old Japanese girl.
Yeah, I've seen her. She skates with like kind of like a little skirt, right? But like shorts and high socks. Yeah, she's awesome.
And then second place also like a young Japanese girl, and third place was a Brazilian girl. And I was like,
so they
only
skate in other countries.
Yes, exactly.
That's all they do.
We're just X gaming around, doing nothing. They also have BMX, which is kind of cool. Like X Games, continue saying that or whatever. Also. All right, so there's some things that like I've started watching that I would get really into. Like I was watching handball. Do you know what handball is?
Oh yeah.
I was watching that and I was trying to get into it, and it's just like I keep calling traveling because like I just use basketball rules, but that's not the rules they use. So they're just like walking, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. So not that one, but ping pong, they got me.
That's nuts.
Ping pong got me. They're just backward.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's for. Excuse me. Yeah, the hand-eye coordination there, and for like such a small ball that you're using.
Yeah.
And it's insane.
We watched the gold medal thing this morning when we woke up at like 7:30. I'm like, oh, it's so great. And the Chinese people dominate that. Canoeing and kayaking.
Yeah.
It's like a man-made river.
Okay.
And they like drop them into the water from 12 feet.
I didn't know that.
And then they start going, and then they have to kind of like slalom. Is that the skiing thing where you have to go around like the flags or whatever?
Yeah.
So they have to do that. But then they get to a certain point where it's a red flag where they have to go past it and then come back upstream around
just turn around it.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
You're going downhill, though. And then there's one where it's like 3 canoers at a time and you're like all fighting each other. It's interesting. It's crazy how interested you get in stuff that you're never gonna watch until the next Olympics.
It reminds me more and more of the movie Dodgeball when they're like ESPN 8 the Ocho.
The Ocho.
So it's like you start seeing like all these like lawnmower racing and shit.
Yeah, I can't believe it. The other thing that was kind of funny, it's like the big meme stuff that's going around, the shooting, which America apparently not good at shooting when it comes to Olympic Games or whatever. But there was a Turkish guy. So like all these shooters are wearing like tactical vests and glasses that has shading and like crosshair or like whatever to like help them. This Turkish guy, hand in his pocket, nothing. Just walked up and he just started shooting stuff. Won the silver medal.
Really?
Yeah, and
that's awesome. I want to see that.
And then they were like, "Go stand over there to get your medal." And he's like, "Where's the smoking? Like, where can I smoke?" Like, he's just a total like that's just great. Turkish dude.
Literally Turkish gold.
They were saying
that would have been awesome if he won gold. It'd be Turkish gold. That's a cigarette.
Oh, okay. I was like, "Is that coffee?"
Camel. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, so that was pretty awesome to see. That's the only time I've ever openly cheered for Turks. But, there comes a time
gotta be
for everything. So
sometime or another.
I'm kind of surprised you didn't see it. I actually wanted to bring it up because this is more of a sports-related episode. Like, we're not big sports people that we talk about, but today's top three like, sports teams for us.
Hell yeah.
So I thought, let's talk some Olympics too, but I feel like you're done with the Olympics. So what do you got? You got anything for me? Anything
no,
cool?
I'm
out. Then I'm out.
I just to go back to the Olympics again, we're not trying to like have a stance against them or anything. It's just, and it's really weird that
no, I'm against.
I think like last week or whatever it was, I was talking to Joni and was like, "Are the Olympics going on right now?" And yeah, they were, and they are, and
Megan is like too into it. Like, I'm like, please leave the television. She's like, Sha'Carri Richardson is running the 100 meters. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Again, I don't know what it is. I'm just not that interested this year. It's weird. But when I was, like I said before, how I got my hair cut and I was talking to this woman, because I went to Sport Clips. They always got the TVs on, and that's when she was asking me about the breakdancing and everything. And, like, I really hate small talk. Like, especially, and I mean, like, this one goes without saying, and I love the ladies at my dentist office, but, like, we don't need to be...
It's not what you've told me off there.
All right. But that, like, when they're trying to talk to me and ask me about my day, and it's like, but, yeah, so, like, that's one of the reasons why I get my haircut probably 4 times a year. And I mean, like, it gets shaggy and gross. Like, honestly, the last time I got my haircut was for the St. Baldrick's thing, so that was March 17th or whatever.
All right.
Yeah, so that was the last haircut. But how do you, like, with small talk, things like that, like when you're at the dentist or the doctor or whatever?
I love it.
Like, do you?
I love it. But like, there's a difference between small talk and just like actually
kind of
talking
schmoozing
to
too, though. I think because I'm sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
I love, like, at garage sales. That kind of thing, when I can literally leave when I want, that's fine. That kind of small talk is wonderful when I can just, like, I can end it whatever. But yeah, when I'm stuck somewhere, like, if she's cutting my hair, it's like I can't just get up and be like, this conversation sucks. Or, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's a difference. Like, the lady who cuts my hair always cuts my hair.
Okay.
So now I know, like, she's married and has kids, and she's like
she's
old
limits.
Yes. She's like an older Hispanic lady. She's like very nice, and we always see each other, and where she used to cut her hair was close to my house, and now she moved further away. Well, I go over there because it's still like on my way to work and whatever, but like we have stuff to talk about. I'm like, oh, how's your husband? I know he wasn't working last time because like, that's still small talk because I don't really know her.
Yeah,
but that's a different kind of small talk. I also like to make a lot of dad jokes. Even though I'm not a dad.
Jokes.
You brought up the dentist. Like, my dentist, I don't want to say scary lady, but she runs a tight ship, and I feel like the people around her are very, like...
on edge.
They do not want to be wrong.
Yeah.
And I've seen
her...
Like,
her name's on the door, so...
Yeah, yeah. And I've seen her do stuff like, no, that's not the right one. And then the person would, like, scramble, and they're like, oh, man. And I'm just like... sitting back or whatever.
So
my goal, was to get her on my side, to break, basically, to laugh. That's what I want from people, especially if you see people who don't laugh.
Yeah.
I'm I gotta get that person to laugh.
I like that.
And so one time, I was leaving and I was like, when are you gonna take me out on your boat? And she was like, what? And I was like, well, I've paid you so much money for all this work that you have to keep doing. I at least own half of your boat.
Hey-o.
And it broke her. And I was like, okay, it's a crappy joke, right? It's not it's just a, but it got her. Next time I saw her, I was upside down in the chair and the dentist's assistant was cleaning my teeth or whatever.
Were you hanging by your feet?
No, just they lean you back or whatever.
Down.
And so she walked in from over here and she was like, hey, how's it going? And I was like, oh, we got to stop meeting like this. The room erupted.
That's a good one.
The room erupted.
That's great.
It's a horrible, horrible joke, but the room erupted.
I don't know, man.
But I like that kind of stuff to when you can get people off of their game or out of their head.
Yeah.
Because most people are just walking around and going through the motions and stuff like that. So I like the challenge of talking to people. But yeah, when you talk to somebody and they're like, oh, how's the weather? Mm-hmm. Oh, weather's supposed to be this. So you're like, yeah. But what about the Jews?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh!
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
I'm
different. I mean, I like talking to people everywhere.
If you get me going, sure. But it's just, I think it's the initial,
What about so me and you resell stuff, we find stuff at the garage sales and we sell them on eBay.
Yep.
You go to your post office a lot?
Yes, but I go to 4 different post offices. Okay. Honestly, yeah.
So
it depends what my route is.
You don't have a person that you...
I also use the self one where you can just literally scan it yourself, put it in the Dropbox.
Okay.
I do that as much as possible. But there's definitely... Actually, there's one in Glen Ellen that I go to. I used to go to all the time, but then my work hours changed. So actually, the last time I went, and I hadn't been there in months, she's like, "Oh, what'd you sell this time?" So she could just tell by me bringing boxes and whatnot, And
yeah, I have a small post office by me, and there's 2 guys who work there. One is a older white guy. He's been working at the post office for 35 years or whatever, and the other guy is a young black guy who's 7 feet tall.
Okay.
And they're awesome. They're very cool. They're very nice. It's an interesting combination when you walk in there, and you're just what's going on? And so every time I go in there many times a week.
Yeah.
They know me. We talk back and forth. We've gotten to the point where I don't, I'm not a controversial person, but I'm open. I'll talk about anything.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people who are kind of closed off about that kind of stuff. And so sometimes I say stuff and I can see them kind of back up or whatever. But we've gotten to a point where they gave me a nickname.
Uh-oh.
They call me Sunshine. Because I walk in there and I'm like, bam, bam, shit, what's going on? Hey, hey. And then put a smile on their face. Even if it's raining outside, here comes the sun. So, I know, it's a horrible nickname. But they call me Sunshine. And to the point of my mom had an issue with the post office. She was trying to send me something, sent it to the wrong place. My mom doesn't know my address, so she had to call that
she
place.
Have to be blindfolded when you bring her over.
I told her, I was like, if you ever go over there, those guys can be gruff if you don't know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. If you walk up and you're like, I got these shoes, they're like, what do you want us to do with the shoes? They're business, you know. But they know me, so they're nicer with me. So I told my mom, if you ever have to go over there or whatever, tell them you're Sunshine's mom. And I said that as kind of a joke. Then my mom actually needed to call them. Did call, and then Jarvis answers. And then my mom is like, hi, I'm Sunshine's mom. And so he was just laughing. So then the next time I walked in, he was like, man. And then we talked about that.
That's hilarious. But why does your mom use the same post office as you? You guys don't live
She was sending something to my house, and she sent it to the wrong address. So it went back to the post, it goes from her place to my place.
Gotcha.
And yeah. So anyway, but the point of all that being that that's all small talk related, right? That's all I don't know. I like to make people laugh or whatever. What do you got? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like take over.
No, dude. No,
give you a
that's great.
Pointless
It's
story
just,
that had nothing to do about small talk.
I'm not even like I am a very like outgoing, friendly person, but I mean like sometimes I genuinely get anxiety when it's just like if I know there's a situation I'm going into, it's just like I feel bad. Like I'll send Sadie to like my daughter. I'll send her to like go pick up. You know, it's like
Really?
we're going to pick Daddy up, but it's like I don't feel like talking to that guy. It's like
Wow.
can you go grab her? Not all the time, but I mean it's. Yeah,
I don't have that.
I have a weird. Yeah, I don't know.
I used to be way more introverted though than I am.
I think I've gotten more that way. Weirdly, not to get into it, but like since I quit drinking, I think I've become more just like aware of the world, and I feel like, and again, like we don't need to go down this dark. Stop.
Save that for Sasha and Goff
Episode
After Dark.
Yeah. Anyway, what are you putting inside yourself?
Oh, all right.
You got anything else?
What I'm putting inside myself is small talk.
No.
All right.
All right. So,
how's the weather by you? That's what I want to know.
It's probably a degree warmer than it is here.
So what I'm putting inside of myself this week is Rockafire explosion. This is unbelievable. Did I talk about this already?
I don't think so. Oh wait.
I brought it up to you.
No. You mentioned it to me, and no joke. Like 2 days ago, I was trying to remember what it was, but I didn't want to ask and just be like, I'll listen just for the show. Go on though.
Okay, so I watched this documentary called Rockafire Explosion. Rockafire Explosion was a band at Showbiz Pizza. If you remember Showbiz Pizza,
Yeah, I do.
And I think it turned into Chuck E. Cheese. I'm not really sure of like
now
the
I remember
whole
what this was.
Yeah, the whole history of it. But there used to be like when, especially in our area, I guess, when we were younger, we would go to like, we still have Enchanted Castle near us.
I went to Enchanted Castle last weekend with
And
the
do they
kids.
have like the live band?
They
thing?
didn't when we were there.
Okay.
But like I remember telling Joni, it's like, oh, that's where the animatronic band. She was like horrified.
I saw All Else Fails there. Were you
I
at
was
that
there
show?
too,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, that was crazy.
I remember one of them tried to do the spinning guitar thing and hit the other. I think it was like Brian tried to go around and like hit Andy, the singer, like in the back of the neck. It was
That's
rough
funny.
to watch. Go on.
Yeah, so it's like the animatronic band from that. I believe it was from Showbiz Pizza at the time.
Okay.
But then like Chuck E. Cheese maybe took the gimmick or whatever for themselves. I don't really know the whole story, but there's a like hour and 10-minute documentary on this thing. After a certain amount of time when those things went out of business or whatever. Now keep in mind, this isn't just like an animatronic band like, oh, it's just a stuffed animal. There are so many like intricacies and programming things where and like the mouth, so it like looks like it's talking and it's like going with the music. It's playing at the same time as music, like guitar strumming, drums, like the whole band. There's like a piano guy. It's creepy. It's insane.
It's like AI before AI.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the beginnings of AI, and it's just an insane like story. This guy just like decided he was a programmer. And somebody asked him if he could do something like that, and he did. And then he made this entire company out of it.
That's great.
That guy in general is an interesting character. Even now, if you search his name, which I'm not going to tell you his name because I don't remember it, but if you watch this thing, he's like one of the major characters. He's a very like salesman-y guy, like, whoa, yeah. He's got like a young girlfriend, and he wears like button-up Hawaiian shirts and
like
stuff.
A businessman.
Kind of, but like a cool, like, hey,
like a slick businessman.
Slick, yeah, slick is a good word for it. So there's a lot of people who complain about him on Reddit, saying he's like this trash human being, and he defends himself like, I am not a trash human being. I'm not taking a side because I don't want him coming to my house.
How old is this guy?
I mean, he's got to be, I would guess 60s.
Okay, yeah,
in his 60s at this point, yeah.
Oh.
So like that's part of this thing. The other part of it is someone bought the band from the owner guy. They made hundreds of these because there were hundreds of Showbiz Pizza locations or whatever. But somebody went and bought like one that was like never opened in a crate, sent it to his own house, built like a barn, and made his own Showbiz thing. And like he's an interesting character. He's like a DJ at a roller rink. By the way, all these words I'm using, you're like, is this from the 80s? Like, no, this is a 2010 documentary that looks like everyone in there looks like it's 1975. It's awesome. Crazy.
Wait, what is this on?
It's on YouTube, so
Okay.
it's free, and it's only an hour 10 minutes long, but totally worth watching. They're, you know, like, I don't want to use the word hillbilly as a derogatory word, but this is like, if you think of the word hillbilly, what you think of. That's what it reminds me of,
Okay.
you know.
Where's this like out of?
Somewhere in the South.
Okay.
Arkansas, Missouri, Indiana, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, one of those.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything past Naperville is like
yeah.
hillbilly territory to me. And I don't mean that as like a negative way, but I just mean it as a way to like describe the people who are like on this. There are just like super fans of this Rockafire explosion. And I've sold one of those shirts on eBay
Really?
before, yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, they're just like super fans of this thing, and like they became friends on a chat group because of this.
Uh-huh.
So the reason why it got popular now being like 2010 or whenever the documentary came out, the guy who had bought the thing and for his own barn and his own thing to have at his own house or whatever, programmed them to modern day music.
Wow.
So it's like Plain White Tees, Hey There Delilah, and they're like singing and whatever.
See,
and put it on YouTube, and it blew up.
That's crazy. I thought this whole thing was going to be like a legal battle because this guy, like, it sounded like he sent it to himself and he like illegally made these things.
No.
Wow. So there's just like a secret society of the Showbiz Pizza Band.
Yeah, and I'm trying not to use words like weird, but
yeah.
But like it is
peculiar.
Kind of, yeah, interesting. But I mean, if you like something that much, who cares? Like we all like something weird. So yeah, I don't know. Rockafire Explosion on YouTube. It's free. Yeah, it's not bad. What about you?
I got two things. Actually, this first one, it kind of comes with a question, actually. So this is, again, just a new Offspring song.
Oh, I heard it.
Light It Up.
I heard it.
It's awesome. Like, I brought it up just because it's, like, exciting for the Offspring to sound like they used to again. Which sucks, though, because the other single they have doesn't.
Yeah.
So I actually played it for Joni, and she was like, wow, this is great, you know? And it's like, his voice almost sounds like it reverted back to like Ignition and Smash. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The song sounds like it could be, you know, off of like any of the first 3 or 4 albums.
It's weird hearing it now because when you heard Smash, you were at the age of listening to Smash, which like you're a teenager and angst and whatever. And now you know what they've gone on to do and how they've changed over the years. And then you hear this again and you're like I like it. It's a good song, but I'm also like, well, what's next?
Exactly.
Like, what are they going to put out after this?
Yeah.
They haven't continued the same musical trajectory or whatever.
They like
not that you need to, but it kind of went like pop.
No, they turned it into basically writing like 1 or 2 fast songs, and then everything else is like, well, this could be a radio song, or this could be one. This is a goofy, stupid song, you know?
Yeah.
So that's, you know, like Pretty Fly for a White Guy, and like those were funny songs, and they were very clever, but it's like then they just kept doing that.
That was my first show at the Metro, was The Offspring in 1998 or 9. I think it was 98 with Mary Tyler Morphine and Unwritten Law. No. And then I liked Unwritten Law so much that I went to see them at the House of Blues the next time they came.
That one.
And the Blue Meanies opened for them.
Yes.
And I left with all Blue Meanies stuff because they won me over. And I was like, I still like Unwritten Law. Yeah. Also, Spring Heel Jack was on that show. I love Spring Heel Jack. But the Blue Meanies, I mean, I bought all the, like, that was the day I became a Blue Meanies fan. I never heard them before. I bought the album Pig. I mean, like, literally, like, that was the day that I became a Blue Meanies fan.
Yeah.
All because of that Offspring show originally at the Metro. I actually was really excited because they are playing Riot Fest, and they're playing Smash in its entirety. So that's cool. Unfortunately, it's on Friday. I'm not going on
that's
Friday.
Probably not going to happen. Well, that's what part of like what I had to ask you with this. So when I listened to this new song, Light It Up, on Amazon, a question came up which said, who are you most excited to see at Riot Fest with The Offspring? Which is like, that's kind of weird. So I've never seen a poll question on the Amazon Music app.
Oh, okay.
So there's only 5 bands here, but it's kind of weird because like I know who you're going to pick. But it's Fall Out Boy, who you're obviously going to pick, Slayer, Rob Zombie, Sublime, Sum 41.
You know, it's interesting. It is Sublime.
Yeah.
But Slayer is up there. But I went to Slayer's last ever quote-unquote show, which is not because they're out here. And I'm a huge Rob Zombie fan. Like, I don't know if you know that, but I'm a big Rob Zombie, White Zombie guy.
Okay.
Rob Zombie is someone I'm interested in seeing.
That's
and
Sunday night too, right?
Sundays.
And Slayer.
Slayer, Lamb of God, who I only recently started like becoming a fan of the past couple of years. I think because they played with Slayer at their last show, I like listened to more of them than I did when I was younger. And Sublime is playing that day, and the Vandals are playing that day, which is what I'm really excited about.
Forgot about the Vandals.
Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of bands on that Sunday. Like, that's the thing. By the way, like Sublime, I'm nervous to see because I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be good. Yeah. It's just interesting to see that the singer's son is.
What did you think of them with Rome?
I was not really interested.
Okay.
I think
was there just the one album?
I don't even know. I saw them once, and I was like, "This is fine," but I don't need to see this again. Yeah. And they're actually playing with Rome in McHenry.
Yeah.
And like 2 weeks later, they're playing
Riot
Fest without Rome or whatever.
That is weird.
By the way, the other show with Rome in McHenry, Everclear's opening. So I'm a big Everclear guy. But yeah, I don't know. Offspring.
Cool. And then the other thing, got to talk about this Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, okay.
I know you're not a Marvel guy, but this is like it's weird. Like when I can't, not being able to like you being excited about it too, because this is like a movie for like the Marvel nerds we've been waiting for. Obviously, have you seen any of the Deadpool movies?
No, but I have things to say.
Okay.
All right. So I'm in.
Okay, cool.
I'm
awesome.
paying attention to what you're saying.
All right. So the Deadpool movies, Ryan Reynolds, they started off with him playing this character in one of the Wolverine origin movies, and they just totally botched the character. It was awful. So Ryan Reynolds, he's the one that basically convinced Fox, like, we're gonna do this right. So
pre Ryan Reynolds, they messed up Deadpool.
Well, it was still Ryan Reynolds playing the character of Deadpool, but it was like, what the hell is this? Like nothing like his character. They just completely screwed it up. So,
can I ask? I gotta.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Deadpool was a Marvel character.
Yes.
Before Ryan Reynolds was.
Long before, yes.
I know with Ryan Reynolds, he's kind of like an asshole character, right?
Yes.
Is that what the original character was like? He was a jerk.
He is perfect as Deadpool.
Okay, all right.
He is likable, but he is also just like, and like Hugh Jackman says it so many times, shut the fuck up in this movie, because that's the thing with Deadpool. Like, we think it's hysterical, but like, yes, if you had to spend a day with this guy, you'd probably want to, But him, so Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman both playing these characters that they were seemingly born to play. Because, Ryan Reynolds just is Deadpool. Like, you take that, like, so that's why I feel like I can't really watch him in any other capacity, because it's like, I only want to enjoy him as Deadpool. Because everything else is just, even on the show Welcome to Wrexham, which is that reality show about him and, the guy from Always Sunny and their soccer team, it's still, he's always on. And it's like, you can even see Rob McElhenney sometimes. It's just like,
did you ever see Waiting?
Yeah, that's Deadpool.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is. He's dirty. He's vile. He's just like...
So he's him in everything he plays.
Exactly. But now he has a mask on. Okay. And it's still, though, it is wonderful. And the fact that Disney, they kind of took a huge swing here when they bought Marvel, because it's like, if we want... Because Deadpool, I mean, it's a cash cow. And
they're just number one movie in the world.
They're like, we have to... So that's when Disney... When on the app, that's when they started bringing all the Netflix Marvel shows over, like Daredevil and Jessica Jones, that were very gritty, very like adult shows, and they're like, we have to make this part of our brand now. So, and
this is rated R too.
Rated
right?
R, very hard R. It's not like they have like a couple swears in there.
Like Hulk Hogan hard R.
Hard R, like cocaine jokes. I mean, like sexual jokes. It's very graphic, very violent, but. It's an awesome movie, and if you haven't seen it, if you're like...
Is this the third one?
Third one.
Yeah. All right, so I tried watching the first one, I think because of you. I think you said you should watch it. I think it's up your alley. I checked my alley, and it was not up my alley at the time. I think I just wasn't in the mood to watch it.
Okay.
And like Marvel stuff in general, I'm always kind of turned off by like superhero stuff in general. Megan, I believe, watched it with me, and we maybe lasted 20 minutes, which is like 6 times longer than normal, but not for a movie. But nice. Yeah, so like, I tried watching it. I don't think I gave it a fair shake. And seeing what it is now, I'm kind of like, I'm going to go back. So I actually asked Megan the other day, I was like, do you want to watch the Deadpools? And she's like, no, that's all you. So I'm like, okay, I can just, whenever I feel like it. Do you guys do that, you and Joni? Do you like have to ask before you watch something because she might want to watch something?
I'm like, usually it's just like, hon, if you want to watch a movie with me, we're watching what I want to watch. I feel like an asshole, but no, I mean, funny. Like the last we watched Top Gun Maverick. That was the last movie we watched together, and that one we both really wanted to see, but we don't watch movies that often. But no, I mean, there are times when it's like, yeah, let's put on a movie, and it's 40 minutes of just going through Netflix, and it's just one of us just has to pick.
Yeah, that's normal. Like if I'm gonna watch Rockafire Explosion, or I don't even know if that's the name. That's just like the band name. I don't even remember if that's the name of the actual thing that I said it is the name of. But if I'm gonna watch that, I know Megan has zero interest, so I'm not even gonna ask her to watch these like weird hillbillies or whatever. But if I'm watching like a new stand-up special of somebody that I know she likes, or like a movie that recently came out, like Oppenheimer, I was like, do you have any interest in Oppenheimer? Yeah. Okay, so then I have to put that to the side, and then I have to watch Rockafire Explosion again until like we get a time to watch it at the same time. Yeah. Making decisions is crazy. Real. Yeah, that's another podcast. Deadpool, see it?
Absolutely see it.
You saw it in the theater?
Saw it in the theater, and I've watched it a couple times since.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Loved it.
All right. Well, that's it for What Is Inside Us, and I guess that means it's time for our top three. Top 3 list, which we do every single week. New subject. And then once we discuss our subject, we pick out of our bucket the next week's topic. This week's topic, we are doing top 3 sports teams, which... Meh.
Yeah. It's a little broad.
Broad, and like we kind of can figure out some. I don't think you'll know one of mine.
Okay.
I think one of mine you know for sure, and I think the other one is a toss-up. But recently you actually sent me something about that team. So it'll be interesting.
Thanks. So, my focus is gone now.
You want to start it off?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, actually, so I don't know if you even just said it. I'm sorry. Like we kind of talked, and or are we just doing teams to start?
We'll just do top 3 teams. Yeah. And then we're also going to talk maybe a little bit afterwards about like our favorite era of either those teams or certain teams that we like. I know it's confusing, but top 3 teams.
Okay. So just teams to start.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, I am very one note when it comes to sports, and I root for my Chicago team. So I'll just tell you right now, they're all going to be Chicago teams. Number 3 is the Bulls. Okay. Just obviously like a wonderful history team. Michael Jordan, best player to ever play, the face of the team. And
were you into basketball as a kid?
I played basketball, and I think like 6th grade. So yeah, but like before then, I remember the championships. But, like, I'll say now, like, the Bulls era, that era, isn't on my list.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of before me, and it's like, I remember celebrating those, and they were fun, and they were awesome. But it's like, at the time, it's like, I wasn't donning Bulls equipment. I would wear whatever my mom bought us.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, we got cool Air Jordan shirts, you know.
It was, like, a little bit
matching shirts.
too soon. Like, if you were, like, 17 and that was happening, then maybe it would have been...
See, it's like... Oh, you know what? I guess we'll get to it. Go ahead. So,
although I guess you were 17 towards the end.
No, 90s. Oh, yeah, 90s, like 16, 17, yeah.
Maybe it was like if you were 20 or 21, it would mean more than it did. Like because I remember being a kid and being like excited that the Bulls were winning, but I wasn't cheering for the Bulls, but like to have your home team win.
Yeah.
But yeah, they wouldn't be.
You know what? I gotta say, when Rodman joined the team, that obviously I think that got a lot more people into it, and it's just like this team's awesome, and they have him.
The second 3 Pete or whatever was like the one. Yeah.
So Bulls.
Okay. Yeah, it's crazy. Recently, I was watching soccer recently, and I was like...
It's called football.
What is it?
It's called football.
Football. I was watching football recently.
Ignorant.
And And I realized that soccer is my second favorite sport.
Okay.
Which blew my mind.
So this isn't your number 3.
What?
Soccer.
No, but it is a soccer team.
Okay.
But I was blown away that soccer is my second favorite sport because I played soccer growing up. Like my whole life.
You played in high school too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I never watched soccer. Like I did not care about soccer until the World Cup came around every 4 years, and I would cheer for Yugoslavia or Serbia, and then like that would be it. I didn't watch English Premier League, whatever. I didn't watch Italian soccer, nothing. I don't care. And we don't have soccer in America. Like MLS was a little bit later on, and like it
ESPN
sucked anyway.
Ocho.
But now I'm watching a lot more soccer than I ever did. So like I don't have a favorite soccer player from when I was growing up. It's just I played soccer so much that like I love soccer. So now I'm watching it a little more, and I'm like, how can it be my second favorite sport? I start thinking about baseball. No, football. For a little while, I was like into it, and then after a couple of years, I was like, I don't like this game. I'm out. Hockey. I know I'm not a hockey person. Like that's not really for me. You can always cheer like when the Chicago teams do good. You're like, all right, this is great. Like, yeah, this is.
And it's
cool.
like you're not like a poser because it's like, this is kind of my team, so I'm allowed to. Now let me ask you real quick. Besides,
I'm still
soccer,
a poser, but
we're all posers.
Yeah.
Besides playing like organized soccer, were you a guy like? Would you like play pickup sports? Like, would you go play like baseball with like at the end of the block or whatever? Because I loved playing sports always, and I was in baseball, basketball, football. I mean, like with the park district. But no, I mean, I loved playing sports as a kid.
Me too, a sports guy. We played football like at recess. I remember when I was in like 7th, 8th grade, right around there, we played a lot of baseball, which is weird because I'm not a baseball guy.
Kickball even.
Yeah, anything outside, but it was mostly basketball, like pickup game. It's the easiest to play.
It's probably the easiest to fall into.
But it's just really weird that I'm like, soccer's my second favorite sport. I don't even, to this day, I have a hard time like learning players' names. They all have weird names. They're all foreigners.
I know the guys from Wrexham because I watched that show.
But all that being said, my number 3 team is a second tier English Premier team.
Okay.
All right, so there's like the EPL.
I know a little bit about it. Like I said, from watching that show, like promotions and things like that.
So Wrexham is in like the 6th league or whatever. This team that I cheer for used to be in the top league.
Okay.
They were.
What is that? That's Premier, right?
Yeah.
The top one. Okay.
And then they got bumped down. Like I don't even know to tell you the truth, but it's Premier League
number 2.
But I don't know the second league. It's like English. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Who knows? Secondary league. I have no clue what they call it. But the team that I liked, they finished in the bottom 3, so they kick them to the second league. I love that, by the way. It's a great system. Then the top 3 teams from the second league, they get moved up, so they get their chance to play in the higher league. But the team that I cheered for when I started like sort of paying attention to soccer was a team called the Stoke City Potters. You've never heard of them?
No.
They weren't good. They are in this weird secondary division where they're not even like good in there. Like they might get pushed into the 3rd league. But I had so much fun watching them. They had players like Peter Crouch, who was like 7 feet tall, skinny white guy.
Yeah, Peter
Kenwyn
Crouch.
Jones, who would score goals and then do backflips and stuff like that. I loved them. They were such a fun team to watch. And then I'm trying to think like who are my favorite teams, like sports teams, and I'm like, I don't really have a lot of favorite sports teams.
Yeah.
So they were my number 3. I was like, all right, that's who it is. And now I'm gonna buy one of their hoodies if I can find it. Like it's like cheering for like the DuPage like Jackrabbits or whatever.
Like the Schaumburg Flyers.
Yeah. That might be too high. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, what's your number 2 top team of all time?
All right. So my number 2. It's the Chicago Bears.
Bears.
I remember there was a time when I was in probably 5th grade where I was a big Miami Dolphins fan.
Wow.
And that was just because the time I decided I was a Dolphins fan is when they started off and they were 8-0. And I was like, that looks great. I like this Dan Marino guy, so I'm going to start rooting for them.
All
yep.
Right.
So you want to talk about posers. But No, I mean, I had a couple Dolphins starter hats, I think, but no, I mean, I never, never got past second base.
Were you a big Dan Marino guy?
Not really. No.
Okay.
I just like I said at the time, they were a really good team, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be different. But no, the Bears just another team that just heartbreak. That's all it is. That's all we get out of this team. I'll talk about them later for the eras, but no, in general, I'm really excited about what they did this offseason, though. So I'm really excited to watch them. But, I play fantasy football. So the Bears are always that team that it's like, yeah, I want them to win, but I don't really care if they do because I have my other team.
Okay.
So, but yeah, no, I'm being very like, ugh. But,
this week, Steve McMichael and Devin Hester and who am I missing? Julius Peppers made the Hall of Fame?
Peppers is like probably Carolina more so.
Okay.
But I mean, like Hester, that's incredible because I mean, like most special teams players don't do it.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
He went to Miami.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
The Miami connection. The Bears is like, if you're from Chicago, it's almost a given that you cheer. Like they were almost my number 3, and I was like.
Just because the culture, I mean, like, you had the Saturday Night Live, the super fans, and it's like, they would do bowls too, but I feel like that wasn't as fun as, like, Bears, it was just the scores,
Ditka,
always, Packers, -3.
No, it was definitely a Bears thing. Yeah, I mean, solid. It's a solid pick. My number 2 is actually, last week you sent me something, and I was like, oh, man, this is I was going to bring this team up before you sent me this. And then you sent me it, and I was like, well, I don't want to tell them that this is my pick.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
What is it?
Is it the Sonics?
It's the Seattle Supersonics. Not even a team, by the way. Did they,
by the way, real quick, did they turn into just the Sonics by the end?
I don't think so.
I feel like they dropped the Super at some point, kind of like how Tampa Bay dropped the Devil and Rays, and they just became the Rays. But
you might be right. I don't think so. I think just people call them the Sonics.
Okay.
But they turned into the Oklahoma City Thunder, and now they're trying to get a team back into Seattle. And but they were just, I love that team. Gary Payton and Sean Kemp.
Me and my brother used to have a Sean Kemp jersey. Actually.
I have a shirt that says Kemp Payton 96. It looks like a campaign
I've seen
shirt.
It. It's awesome.
I wear it to fests, and white middle-aged dudes just high-five me constantly.
That's what we do.
And Megan's like, unbelievable, because she's wearing a mouse rat shirt, and only like you are high-fiving.
Yes.
I actually wore that shirt recently, and we were at a festival, and one of the people working like a booth, they were trying to sell like a shower or whatever. You know how there's people who are like actually working when you go to fests? They're like vendors, they're like sponsors or whatever, and they're like, hey, you want to buy a bathtub?
The people that catch you when you're walking out of Costco. They're like, you want a new water heater?
I don't go to Costco, but yes, or like DirecTV or something. Yeah, like one of those people. So as I was walking by, some guy was like, do you need a new shower or whatever? And I was like, no, I'm good. And he goes, 10% off for Sonics fans. And I was like, that guy's quick. If I was in the
if you were in the market.
Yeah. I would have there.
Carting around a shower the whole time.
I'm at the Long Grove Strawberry Fest carting around a bathtub because this guy mentioned
He's like, no, we literally got him on the truck.
But I love the Sonics. I actually went, me and my buddy Giuseppe went to Seattle the last year that the Sonics existed and went to a game at Key Arena.
Like with that intent? Or did you just happen to
I think we were just going to Seattle in general, but that was like one of the things was like, we're going to go to a game.
Nice.
So it was, Kevin Durant was his rookie season. It was crazy.
So he played with a Seattle? I never knew that. Wow.
Yeah. And it was cool. It was awesome. That was the last year. I kind of remember like, there was like no security. Like you could just kind of walk around because there weren't people, a lot of people at the games or whatever. And at the end, Kevin Durant was like signing his shoes and throwing them into the crowd or something. But yeah, so that was cool. And I do hope that they bring a team back there. Like it's cool. I like Seattle as a city. Like
Seattle has kind of like
I'm a grunge
cool,
guy.
Like, it has like a mysterious thing to it. Like everyone's like, Seattle, it rains all the time.
And grunge, it's like far away.
You ever been there? It's like, no.
It's because it's like in the corner of
like
the country.
In the top left.
Like, I don't want to go over there. Let's stop at Vegas and we'll forget Seattle or whatever. But Seattle's nice. Shout out Kowalski, our buddy Kowalski.
Yeah.
He texted me. He likes this show.
I know. Not to be intrusive, but let us know if you're. We don't know who's listening. We know like the 1 or 2 people that are giving us money, but otherwise, or you know what, we'll just make it a mystery.
Or don't. Yeah, exactly.
We don't have to do that.
All right, so Sonic's Stoke City. Yours were Bulls, Bears.
Yeah, a lot of originality.
So who's your number 1? Let me guess. The Kane County Cougars.
Yes, actually, well, the White Sox, which I don't know if you know this. Right now, they're in the midst of like a 19-game losing streak.
I do. I saw a meme that was the last 2 weeks. White Sox 0 wins. The AL All-Stars have 1 win.
That's great.
Yeah.
I kept looking just because I'm not following. I have one player that's on the Sox on my fantasy team. That's Luis Robert. He's like the only player worth a damn.
That's how you say his name?
Yes.
Okay. I've asked Kowalski this because he's also a big White Sox guy. I thought his name was like Louis Robert.
No, you know what?
And he was like, no.
I remember an early on interview, he told everyone it was not Robert because he made some kind of joke about how I'm not French. Something like that. So I know that it's Robert. Maybe, it might be Louis, whatever. Yeah. Great player, though, but he's on a dead-end team, and that's what worries me is, like, how long is this guy even going to care?
Yeah.
They've traded off pretty much anyone that's worth anything. Any pitching is gone. Eloy Jimenez, good riddance. I'm happy he's gone. He was supposed to be, like, this huge trade that we got from the Cubs. But
2005 was a great year.
It was, and I'll talk about that soon.
I have a Jermaine Dye bobblehead in the corner over there. You think I don't like baseball? Kowalski gave me that. Shout out Kowalski.
Kowalski, our guy.
Yeah. You're the listener of the week.
I know he is a big Sox
You're
fan,
our only listener of the week. Congratulations.
Yes.
All right. Very cool. White Sox, predictable, just as mine is predictable. You know mine?
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
It's the New York Knicks.
It's the New York Knicks.
I'm a Sasha super fan, by the way.
Thanks.
You're actually my number 1 team, buddy.
You should sign up for my Patreon, which is it gives you a password to my OnlyFans. Yeah, Knicks. I love the Knicks. I
can see a patch right behind you.
I got a Knicks patch. I bought 2 of them. My mom recently made me a Knicks hoodie.
Nice.
Original. No one else has one like it. I love the Knicks. I grew up on the 90s Knicks. Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley. The Gang, Charles Smith, you name it. I love that team. Then they were good again with like Allen Houston, Chris Childs. Doesn't matter. Larry Johnson, Grandmama.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. Larry Johnson right up there. All the way up.
Yeah.
That's my dad.
That's why I knew
my dad is not Larry
Charlotte,
Johnson. But yeah, I love them. And then I didn't like them because they got Carmelo Anthony. I'm not a big Carmelo Anthony fan. But in the past year, they've built this team, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, this entire new team. They got rid of my guy Isaiah Hartenstein, but great team, super fun to watch.
Pretty scrappy team too.
Yeah, and their coach is Tibbs, who we know a lot about. He was the Bulls coach with the Derrick Rose era. Just scrappy.
Never
defense.
liked him, to be honest,
but
good. I mean, like he's got a great ethic, but I just screaming always, man.
I love everything about Coach Tibbs, and I think you can only play for him for a couple years. Because if you don't win a championship, you're like, this isn't paying off.
Yeah.
But he's tough to play for. But, yeah, I love the Knicks. So, Knicks and White Sox, pretty easy.
Yeah.
So, instead of potent notables, it's weird to say, like, oh, yeah, this team almost made it. But, like, the Bears, for me, almost made it or whatever. But I did want to know, like, your favorite eras of teams. So, like, I brought up the 90s Knicks, right?
Yeah.
The Bulls were not in my top 3, but I loved that era of the Chicago Bulls when it was like Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah.
Absolutely.
Andres Nocioni and Luol Deng, like Kirk Heinrich.
Kirk Heinrich,
me and Kirk Heinrich. Look at the pictures right there.
That's awesome.
This whole podcast.
And to see that he was drafted amongst LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and
Darko Milicic. Yeah. I know, the greats.
Yes.
All the greats.
Chris Bosh.
So, like, I love that era of a team. And then the other team that I'm not a fan of this team. I mean, like, they're okay now, but I don't follow them too much.
Yeah.
But the early 2000s Sacramento Kings that had Vlade Divac. Look, and there's 6 bobbleheads of them. Like, this is literally, like, I'm just talking about stuff that's in my room.
Yeah.
All the Vlade Divac.
I realize you have no notes this week.
Nothing.
You're just going off.
I'm just looking at what's around me. The Vlade Divac bobblehead section over there. I mean, I love that Kings era of teams. They should have won a championship. They didn't because the NBA is rigged, was rigged, and will always be rigged. What? Don't clip this. Clip it and tag Adam Silver.
Gotcha.
All right, NBA commissioner. But anyway, so like I like those eras of teams, and obviously the '05 White Sox was fun to be around. Like all my friends who were Sox fans and stuff like that.
Present.
So what kind of eras were you a fan of? And
do you want to go back and forth, or do you want me to just kind of quickly?
I literally just like went through mine really quick. So
okay,
anything you want.
Well, yeah, I did actually list them. The 2010 Blackhawks.
Oh yeah,
that's. I mean, they won 3 in the next 6 seasons or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that one with like, you know, Kane, Taves, Keith, Seabrook, Sharp, like all those guys, and forgot about like Dustin Byfuglien. You remember him?
I do. He was like the muscle.
He was, yeah. Him and I think like Adam Bursch was another one. So it was awesome just having, like, as the years went on, and I mean, which is why it sucks now because it's like, yeah, I still root for the Blackhawks, but I don't watch them.
Yeah.
I don't know any of the players on the team except Connor Bedard. You know, I mean, he's the biggest guy we got since Patrick Kane, but just that time, and I remember going to the parade after they won. That's the only time I went with your cousin Nick.
I actually like wanted to go to that parade, and not being a hockey guy, but like it was just a magical time.
It was really, and especially for them to win it, because, you know, it had been 80 some years, whatever. And I remember my youngest sister-in-law, Robbie, she was a huge Hawks fan at the time, and it was like, she kind of wanted to come to the city, but like at the time she was like, I don't know, probably 16, 17. And it's like,
I don't want to be in charge of
I can't, I'm not going to be, but yeah, so that was a great one. The 2006 Bears, who lost in the Super Bowl. That was just an awesome, I mean, like, speaking of Hester, Devin Hester, Brian Urlacher, Thomas Jones, Cedric Benson, I mean, like, and then all this stuff, too, with Rex Grossman as your quarterback. I mean, it's like Jim McMahon, who's like one of the most popular quarterbacks in Bears history. He wasn't that good. He had a great team around him, and, you know, Rex Grossman, same thing. So
you're a Kyle Orton man?
Yeah, the neck beard, like, down to his
chest.
chest.
I didn't like Rex Grossman.
No,
Not that I know anything about football, but it was like you pick a side. And
yeah.
I chose the Kyle Orton side.
No, he wasn't that guy. And then, the more specifically, 2005 to 2008 White Sox. That era,
So
Canerco, Jermaine Dye. Well, actually, I go to 2008 because from 2004, I think, to maybe 2009, the Sox were a really good team. Like, kind of like, they were in a really good division though. So if they weren't making the playoffs, they were like losing to teams in other divisions with worse records. But anyway, you had Mark Burley's perfect game. That was 2009 actually. But
which he couldn't have without Dwayne Wise.
Yes, I actually have that in my notes too. Dwayne Wise, the catch.
Yes.
I mean, like, that's incredible. And this is an awesome one. This was also 2009. But when I don't know if you know this, Paul Canerco and Jermaine Dye in back-to-back at-bats both hit their 300th homer.
Wow.
Like, literally, Jermaine Dye hit it next up, Canerco hit his.
Wow. No, that's cool.
Yeah, so stuff like that, and again, talking about how bad they are now, it's like, yeah, and I still have, like, one of the only DVDs I didn't sell off years back was the box set of, like, it's got all 7 games, you know, and everything leading up to it, so. All
right, well, to take you out of the depression of the current Chicago White Sox, that's it for our top 3s, which means we got to go to the bucket. But, oh my God, the bucket is gone.
We've been vandalized.
The bucket is gone, and unfortunately, I was not able to get us a new bucket.
Oh, no.
Okay? But our dear friend, producer Tony, future producer of this podcast, probably.
Yes,
producer Tony.
Hopefully.
This is producer Tony, if you don't know him. That's
He's also a part of the Kings, actually. I was going to...
Oh, yeah, good call. I'm going to put him right here. We're actually going to put his face somewhere. He's going to get a permanent spot somewhere in the background over here.
Absolutely.
Because he has 3D printed us a brand new bucket.
That's amazing.
Saving us $7, by the way.
Man, can I hold it, please?
You can.
The
Look at the letters. Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
It's got a pail handle.
This is wonderful.
It's a beaut. Don't tip it over because all the stuff is in there. And
Tony, thank you so much, man. This is great.
And so I tried before you got here to set it up with a piece of thread, and it broke because thread is thin, and this is pretty heavy. So I have to figure out how to do this. I don't think I'm going to get it done by next week, but maybe the week after.
We're going to have a rope or a chain
think so.
system.
Yeah.
What the hell are we doing?
So why don't you pick our next week's top 3?
Alrighty.
I can't believe this show went an hour. By the way.
Ooh, this should be a fun one. Top 3 celebrities you hate.
Oh, okay. All right. Top 3 celebrities you hate on next week's show.
Woo!
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.